So, 3 whole years of silly behavior on this place.
Let's move out.
But, yeah. You know, that is, indeed how time works. Time does move. And with that, you know, plenty of things change. Plenty of people change. Original goals change. Like the, original goal for this was documentation, which it still does occasionally. Definitely not as much as it did, considering, you know, now I work a full-time job amongst, you know, my other work as an editor. But I still like having this little corner piece. Kinda experiment with as well. And you know, it really does pay off being able to look back at it. Because there's been many moments where, you know, I'm just chilling at night. I think back to look at some of the stuff I've done. Like, of course it's cringe to look back on. You know, because everybody hates the sound of themselves. But it still has, you know, its golden moments. And you know, can't forget how much it's also taught me, personally. Like, through this I discovered my love of editing, as well as, you know, some graphic design. It allowed me to play games that I never thought I would. And of course there's still some games I need to go back to, because, you know, I was pretty stupid and forgot about them, or it was just a straight up pussy and didn't want to beat them. Like, Evil Within is one of them, you know. It'd be like, so long would pass and I didn't play it, and then I was like, it's always like the fear of not remembering the controls, especially in a game so complex. I had that with, I think it might have been Arkham City, or Arkham Knight, but at least with those games, you know, it's pretty easy to get back into just punching people and shit. Well, I can't even remember, like, nearly half the responsibilities you had with Evil Within. There's, a very silly haha time, I think it was, or in January of this year. You know, I had just been chilling mostly. And, you know, I've been staying up late, like pretty late, a lot later than I typically would. But I was just playing CS Source. And, you know, it was, interesting time. Oh, I grinded for that game's achievements like a mentally insane person. Because I missed that CSGO used to have those kinds of achievements. And I did the same thing on that. I had like maybe 150 out of like 164, I think it was, for CSGO. And then I got to relive that for CS Source. But there were times, you know, where you're playing on lesser known maps in like an empty server, or empty-ish. Like, I think the map's called Havana, and I remember like having a full like moment just looking up after playing a few runs on it at like maybe 2-3 a.m. and there's something that was strangely somber about that moment, but yet nevertheless quite wholesome in a way, even though it sounds odd. And at the time, you know, I was like, geez, I gotta lock in, you know, new year and everything. But, you know, hopefully, once I get what I'm meant to be doing out of the way, I can make a little more time for this. Especially like in the ways of like backing up a ton of stuff. And I wanna go back and revisit some of the, you know, things I should have completed a long time ago. Especially Evil Within and Bubba Ruka. I think with Bubba Ruka, the case was mainly that it was just like I had dedicated hours every day playing that game, and then it just, as soon as I got one ending and finding out I have to replay the whole game, you know, just a bit of a burnout. And then it's like what happens with every burnout, you kinda, you think that, oh yeah, that's still too recent, and then next thing you know, a whole year's passed. Although, I don't actually remember how long has passed right now. Oh. Wow. But, yeah. Because it was a really good game. It was definitely interesting. I like little Game Boy type horror games. I remember playing Fishing Vacation. I've 100% of that game like twice, I think. That music, I can still hear it. Even when the second time going through the game, I opened it up, hearing that music was something. But there's still a lot of other games, like I think I have a backlog of like 200 that I've been like, oh yeah, I'd like to try that out. You know, documented my first experience on the game. But then there's games where it's like, I'd really like to go back and replay that. And you know, get that little moment, because I remember playing through Lakeview Cabin. I absolutely adore that game and franchise. Or Lakeview Valley even though it kind of like, you know, broke. It was still incredibly fun to have like those little moments again. But yeah. One more rotation around the sun to this moment. Joyous. I was originally going to have a lot more sad, to be honest. I kind of forgot what day it was. I set a reminder for myself on a calendar, and that popped up, and I was like, oh, completely forgot that was today. Because, yeah, life just be, busy. That's, reality of, growing up. It does get a bit silly still, you know. Doesn't always have to be serious 100% of the time. But I still think about it from time to time. And I definitely want to do more. and expand. From testing new editing styles and types of footage, experiences. So, you know, pretty insane games that'll probably have me shitting myself. But yeah. I think that's why I prefer horror games. You know, when you're put like in that situation, just where you really are shitting yourself. It's you know, making you piss yourself originally, but after, you know, you're pretty fond of it. Like, I remember when Lakeview Cabin used to make me shit bricks. Thought of that little like funky baby in the first episode coming out when the crows are like going by. I originally bought that game in like 2016 and I don't think I completed it for the first time till 2021 or 2022, which, you know, that's like 5-6 years. And then when I played it for the second time to 100%, it took me like just a week to get through it all. And that's only because I was, you know, doing it episodically instead of just all in one. It still had, you know, its moments, little annoying points where you're like for specific achievements, you're like, gotta do all this, gotta get all that. Like, I remember the last episode where you're looking for like the mutation. It, like, the first time I did that ever was diabolical. Trying to remember all the steps, trying to find out how to secure the guideline. It just seemed like it was never gonna happen. And then second playthrough, boom. I can't actually remember how many attempts it took me. Was it 2? Maybe a few more? But either way, it was a lot different to like the days I had spent originally trying to do that. There have been some games that were meant for well, you know, this, that I ended up playing on my own, simply just because, you know, it's every once in a while, kinda just want a game, you know, but especially with work, it's been feeling like I don't really have time to commit to like a long game. So you'd be glad to know that most of the time, the ones that I do use from the backlog are pretty short. But they still have their qualities. Short games can really, you know, they can do a lot. It's like comparing a movie to a TV series. Like, granted, you know, obviously sometimes a TV series to a movie can be pretty shite. Not gonna lie. And especially in quality. But I suppose a movie has like that restriction. Like, say you're doing an adaptation of something, you have like this long to do whatever you need to do. It'd be an insanely long story and you've got to cram it in like two hours. While in a series, you can do it by season. Sure, you maybe get like it used to just be like maybe 30 minutes or 45 per episode, but you know, it seems like they're becoming more comfortable with like hour long and stuff like that, which is really neat to see, you know. But yeah, I feel like you can just get so much more out of doing it that way. A game, like there've been a lot of silly odd games that I've gone to do But then I always end up magically doing some sort of technical issue that makes it not work. Like I remember Alien Isolation, I must have tried that one 3 times. And I remember in the first one, I couldn't progress because somehow the guy who's meant to like appear in the cockpit to advance the mission just vanished. I'm not sure how, to be fair. Who knows? But yeah, it was joyful every time I seen that something that broke in or stuff like that. Trying to think of other times that has happened. Obviously, you know, ignoring the times where it happens where you're making another episode, like Walking Dead. I'm pretty sure Evil Within, like the second or third in that one. The odd, like the mic just deleted itself, which is tragic. But yeah, plenty of stuff I want to get back to. Plenty of new stuff I want to do. The only issue is always time, you know, and it does suck that it is like that, but in all fairness, it is how it is. But, you know what, even though it was pretty restricted recently, I finally still got to do some of the things I was always talking about. Like the After Hours segment. Which, yeah, to be fair, did get it started up. Only got, you know, a few things done there. But I think it was still neat even actually going for it. After, what, like near 3 years of talking about it. I'm also hoping, well, I got like a ton of stuff. I would say maybe like half a year ago that I was gonna use for a silly haha. And I never got like around to downloading the software for it, all that stuff, setting it up. But when I do, I think, you know, you might even see some returns of previous people. You know, more specifically the people I originally played with on here. As well as some of the originals that you never really got to see on here. Because it was just, it was a like happen of circumstance, you know. Because, you know, accessibility wise, there isn't always, you know, not everybody has everything or the access to everything. But hopefully with the improvement, it'll be possible to, you know, include them. Which I'm really looking forward to, because one person in particular, you know, Rick, fun to play games with. I played WWE, I think maybe 2004 with him at his house. Obviously I won like every time because I'm just, you know, I'm that guy. But yeah, it's good to just have someone to enjoy a game with, you know, share the moment. Wow. But yeah, I've probably been yapping for quite a while. Now that I can use my frontal lobe thinking, Yeah, I also need to go back and finish Gotham Knights. The reason I stopped playing that was because I didn't have any intelligence. Not like in the general sense that I am actually lacking, but I didn't have intelligence on a certain like gang, so I couldn't progress. I've also got Arkham Origins Blackgate, which I know isn't like a proper Arkham game. It's like a little weird mutation of an Arkham game, but I think it'd still be pretty interesting. As well as the, well, now 2 VR games. I do have a headset. It would more so be the fact of, you know, managing to record it reliably, I would say. Like, there are definitely times where, you know, you get that little brief moment of passion, you want to go back to it, and then it's like you start to think about it too much, you know, all the stuff that needs to be done and all the other things that kind of just get in the way. I would say, you know, out of all the maps, I'm definitely a pretty big Office advocate. I'm not entirely sure why. I know it's pretty one-sided, but, you know, depending on who you play it with, it can really make a difference. Because, you know, most games, obviously, this is pretty competitive, so it gets a little too serious. So it's nice to have like a map like Office where it's just like, you know, you can kind of chill out, be a bit silly, not really too like worried about winning. Of course, some people do, and then it gets weird. Like, I count how many times like your teammates just randomly go into a huge fit of rage for like genuinely no reason. Like at one point, like even if you're winning like 12-0, they'll still find a good reason somewhere to create an issue. But I think the map has a lot of character too. Especially the old version. Well, the really old versions really do. Like, I love the way they look. But not just that old version, but CS Source in particular. Actually, I can't remember if the original had it too, but those, like, the carpet, like, oh wait, no, CS Source is the one that changed it, I believe. Isn't it? I believe CS Source is the one that changed it from, like, the carpets and all to the... Well, no, it made it full carpet, while the old one had like a main line of carpet, but then wood along the corners.